All right, so while we're on the topic of probates and mailers, thanks to Kalan, I sent out like 50 2 months ago. Now I know 2 months ago I've been inconsistent with it. I just kind of tested it out and played around with it, and 50 is a low number. I only got one response back, and that was from a guy who wanted me to take him off the mailing list, as he called it.
Mhm.
Is that response rate like normal for probates? So I just gotta keep hammering him out, or did I just
Yes.
mess up? Yeah.
So here's the biggest secret for probate. And dude, I pretty much an expert on this, and you guys can take it for what it's worth. You guys know I don't even sell a probate course anymore. There's an old one out there with me. But I sold the rights to it, whatever. It ends shortly, thank God. But it's actually a really good course. But I committed to doing this whole thing for free. So I'll just share with you the biggest secret that I've learned in probates. It's most people quit probates within 90 days. Most do it within 30 to 45 days. Why? Because exactly what you just said. They're like,
Yeah.
hey, I mailed 50. I got like one or two calls and they were like dead leads, right? So what's that tell you? It's slow.
Oh yeah.
It's very slow, but the profit is 2 to 3 times what your average wholesale deal is going to be. Now, the good news is it's relatively inexpensive if you can figure out how to get the leads efficiently and consistent. So number one, it's slow. Number two, there's not a lot of volume. You can't I can't go out and create probates. And number
Yeah.
three, it's terribly inefficient because if you want to say, well, I'm going to do all 5 counties in my surrounding area, every county does it differently. They're going to drive you nuts. And you have to understand that going into it. So if you understand that, then the key to all probates is pure consistency. So the huge advantage of probates is there's two major things. They're relatively inexpensive. They don't take a lot of time because people call you back at their convenience. And number two, there's not a huge amount of volume. And the third thing is when you get a deal, they're massively profit. Why? Because they're vacant, they're run down, and they're perfect for wholesalers.
The spreads are huge. Yeah.
Yeah. So here's how I go. If I could get you one or two extra deals with little to no work per year, just doing probates, would you do it? And every answer should be yes, because it's that simple. And I have months I don't get phone call, and I do multiple counties, just so you know. So I've done between 3 and 5 counties. I've cut it back to 3 because I have enough data to understand which ones work and which ones are a pain in my butt. So the main thing with probates is if you know everybody quits within the first 3 months, you have to survive the first 3 months. That's the main secret. It's not sexy, it's slow, and that's why you don't see a lot of information on it. But if you got 2 deals and you made 35 grand, you made twice, that's 70K. Oh my God. Think about that. And keep in mind, you guys with like full-time jobs, I had a full-time job, and I wish somebody showed me how to do probates when I started it, because I did wholesaling while I had a full-time job. I didn't have a choice. I had a mortgage. I had 2 young kids. I was in over my head. I was using wholesaling to get out of my misery, so to speak, in my corporate job. So what you say is the most common answer that I get on it. Hey, Rick, I did it. It didn't work. I'm like, you're not even scraping the surface. The main thing is just be super consistent. And that's the hardest part. Once you dial in a county, you know how to get the lead flow and you can move them fast. The faster you move them, the better the response you're going to get. But you have to do what your schedule is. If you can only do it once a week or twice a month, then understanding you're going to have a little bit less of a result. I used to do them twice a week. Now, I'd only get like 15 or 20 per pull, but speed kills in probate because you beat the realtors and the other investors. And then understand when you get them on the phone, you have to really use your ears. You never attack price on the first phone call. Honestly, most probates, if you can survive the first 30 seconds, they'll qualify themselves for you.
Yeah.
They're super simple. So, and remember, when they're calling you, it's other than calling you to take you off your list, which really isn't a lead, and that's fine, is I always assume someone's calling me for a reason other than taking it off the list. And most people are going to kind of tell you, hey, I got a piece of crap house. I don't know how to deal with it. Come help me out. I'm an idiot. I don't know how. They're not going to say that. They're going to test you first. See, number one, if you're an idiot, see if you're a pain in their butt, and see if you're a real human being. And that's it. So answer your phone when they call, and that's simple. Keep doing it. I've gone 3 months without even getting a phone call doing like multiple counties.
Ouch.
But I consistently do it. I had one deal I made $110,000 off. Like, I'm never going to stop doing it. I've learned my lesson.
Yeah, the issue.
You got to understand that. So if it's not killing you and taxing you too much, the thing is so some people want to do like probates nationally. I know one person does it. It's a lot of work. It's hard.
It's a ton of work. I can't imagine.
Because the logistics is a nightmare. So I always try to pick my local markets. If you're doing a virtual market and you have access to it, do it. And then just get one and get really consistent. And maybe you get your first deal. If you want to add another county, you can do it. But like, there's only so many balls you can juggle by yourself if you don't have anybody else helping you. And that's where I drove myself nuts. That's why, guys, I do this professionally. Like, I only do 3 counties because I know which works. I had 2 counties. It was just killing my stuff. It was terrible. It was so bad. I go, we don't need this. I can't put in like 40, 50 hour manpowers just for 75 leads a month.
Oh yeah, no, way too much.
So, you got to figure out. So So the biggest thing you got to do is just consistency. So what you said, it's like, that's very common.
Yeah,
Like,
I'd been cold calling them for like a little bit, and I decided, hey, I'm just gonna try out some mailers. And I had a good system too. Here, the worst part is I had a local market near me, and then I had 2 counties in a virtual market. And first, the local market, they took off the date search feature, so they made it case search and then like one other option, like it was attorneys only, and so they removed my date search. I couldn't do that anymore. So I called them and I asked what's up, and apparently the person who was supposed to be there like was never there. So I have to call them again and see what's up. And then the other virtual one I was doing that had 2 counties that I really like doing this, like it gave me like 2 to 3 hours of content every day. 2 to 3 weeks ago, I noticed that their site went down for maintenance. The next day, date search was also removed, and apparently it's because they got like a DDoS attack and they had some network overload, and it's still not back. So I've been like probate dry for like 3 or 4 weeks, and it's just I have that itch. But I actually I'm gonna switch topics. I started to pull the tax delinquency for a couple markets. I know it's like a weird time, but I just need something in my pipeline, and it's an Excel issue. Batch only skips if you have the property and the zip code, or the property, city, and zip code in separate boxes. The list I pulled, it has like 60K people on it, and it's like 40K even after filtering down. It has the address listed all in one box, so I can't skip trace it with batch, and I don't know what to do about that.
Have you reached out the batch?
I haven't. I should probably try that, but I don't know if there would be like a fix for that per se.
Well, I'm not a data expert, and trust me, I've had huge challenges with this. I've gone through everything from like converting PDFs to get into a CSV file.
I tried that the other day. I gave up.
What's that?
I tried that the other day and I gave up.
Oh, it's like there's just. But I will tell you, I've learned I don't go out and get all the softwares and do this stuff. There's people we have a global economy. So when it comes to anything computer, I guarantee someone's so much better than you and so much more efficient to you. And I'm the days where I'm like, okay, let's go buy that $3,000 piece of software that converts. We've used OCR, PDF converters. Honestly, I have somebody on standby that I've learned over the years. And what I did is I gave them a specific job. I go, hey, can you convert this so we can use this data so we can upload to our company to get skip trace? And then they'll tell me exactly what you need me to do. You have to tell them verbatim and spell it out. The only way you can get the exact way to do it is you're going to have to call batch and go, hey, here's my issue. How can I fix this file to make it acceptable to, do our one-click button to convert this for skip trace? If you do it the other way, you're going to spend a lot of money and energy. If you do exactly what I told you, if you want to know where to find these people, Fiverr is a good starting spot, Upwork and stuff like that, and be very detailed, specific what you want, and just say, here's the deal. And if they can't do it, tell them you can't do it, and make sure you get a price up front. I like Fiverr in a way because they're like one-off deals. Upwork is more for long-term employment. So Fiverr, you can find someone that'll do it, and honestly, within 10, 20 bucks, there's nothing on a spreadsheet that can't be done by someone so much better than you and me.
True.
And I literally spent 2 weeks trying to like problem solve this with my staff. We wasted thousands and thousands of dollars and like 50 hours over time. And for 20 bucks, somebody solved it in like a half a day.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
So I'm just telling you like that, like, remember I tell you don't need to know everything in wholesaling? You can't be a jack of all trades. Find out specifically what the missing problem is, what batch needs, identify it with your Excel spreadsheet, whatever it is, PDF, and then clarify exactly and write down exactly what you need to do and go hire someone to do it. And I'm telling you, within 20 bucks, you will get it done every time. I've done some of the most complicated pivot tables I've ever seen in my life. I had no idea what I was doing. I just told them exactly what I wanted and it works. And the really cool part is when they give you that Excel spreadsheet, if you want to take it a step further, the first time I have them just convert it. The second time I'll tell them, make me a template, make me a macro that will do this automatically when we do that. Now you might spend $100, but you only got to do it once. And then you or somebody you work with can convert it. I honestly, I rather pay someone 10 or 20 bucks just to get it out of my hair. So like I don't do tax delinquencies every month. So understanding if you only have to do it once, 20 bucks, it's going to save you 15, 20 hours of frustration. You're probably going to do it wrong. So I was stubborn and like I just pushed and pushed. Don't do it, man. Like 20 bucks, it's well worth it. And a lot of times I'll do it for 10 bucks. They're looking to get your business and get it done. Yeah. So there's a lot of Excel's an amazing tool, but there's people that like they go to college, they get their master's degrees like in everything you can do in Excel. I don't want to go and do that. So I'm just telling you, start with batch and look at your doc and talk to them. And a lot of times you can set up an appointment with batch. You can send them your sheet and say, listen, how can I convert this to upload in your system? Why are they going to do it? Number one, they want more business from you. That's how they get paid. Number two, this is why we use companies like that, because to be honest with you, their customer service, you're not dealing with like somebody in the Philippines. You actually deal with like a real live person, and it works really well. So I'm telling you, that's what I would do.
Okay.
Like,
And
go ahead.
So I know you guys like I think Zach was talking about filtering down the tax delinquencies the other day, and I mean I tried. I got rid of the companies, I got rid of the LLCs, I got rid of investment, blah blah, all that, and like the ownership names, and I'm filtering by like highest amount owed, and this one county still has 40K people on it.
What's the population of the county?
Let me check. It is 584,000. That's a big county. I did not know.
It's a big county. So I'm just telling you, that's proportionate.
Okay.
So mine, I do one of my counties here. It's like 110,000, and mine's around 25,000 after like filtering. Like now, I'm a little bit better at filtering it down. Here's the problem: I can't tell you specifically what to do because every county does it different.
Yeah.
So one thing you want to do is filter out any county-owned property. It's a waste of your time.
Yep.
It's going to be a huge part of it. And you keep identifying like, okay, what is the bulk of it? Also, anybody that recently, I like to look for somebody that is at least 1 or 2 years behind. So just like you can filter out your list for mailings and for your cold calling and SMS, you can do the same thing with tax delinquency. The key is it's got to be a CSV or an XLS file. And then once you have the columns established, here's what I did. The problem with Excel, guys, you're going to have the same thing I did. You do a lot of if this is true, this has to go there. Once you start making it complicated, you have to write down the rules. Just pay someone. And here's the really cool part. They'll set up the sheet for you. And in the future, they can create a macro. So a macro is like an automation in Excel, like the rules. And once you establish them, you only got to do that sheet once. I pay $25 to get my tax delinquency. Now, this is only for one county, and I still use it. I swear to God, it's like 10 years old. And we still use it. And every now and then they make changes and we got to fix it, and I'll hire the expert and they'll fix it. But once you go, hey, listen, if they're eliminate the ones that are county owned, that are less than a year old, but like there's all sorts of conditions that go on it. Like I filter out anything above $700,000 just because it doesn't, we never get a deal on them. Like we haven't got one in like forever in this particular county.
Yeah.
So just keep dialing it down. Maybe you find it more aged. Maybe you can, a lot of times they'll break down the square footage. You can break down that and just keep dwindling it down, and you'll have to identify trends. And that's the first one's a little painful. And then after that, you learn each year. You're like, okay, you have to learn data, guys. And then you got to understand the way you want it. You can't make 45,000 calls. It's ridiculous to mail to 45,000 people. I want to find the people with the greatest amount of urgency. And then you just ask yourself the right questions. So do the initial scrubbing. Okay, you're down to 45,000. You probably want to knock it down and get it to half that. How can I get to half of that? What is flooding this list the most? Find someone to help you do it. I'm telling you, it will change you, because if you can look at the right data, your job's to find the most motivated people and connect with them. 45,000 is a lot of people. So it's like, could be a good thing, could be a bad thing. I don't know.
So what's the lowest dollar amount you guys have for like delinquent taxes owed?
The lowest dollar amount?
Yeah.
I don't anything below like $500, don't even look at, because it'll be solved automatically. That's going to be proportionate to the market you're doing. I also eliminate there's a lot of like, it's all, so we have certain parts of our county that I know that just like nobody wants, and I can get rid of like 8,000 of them, because I get rid of I don't mess with vacant land on delinquent taxes, because it doesn't work in my county. Now you might have a county where it works. I rather just chase vacant land in a different route, because there's no there's no urgency for somebody with vacant land to like, they just don't care. They'll wait till the day of the auction. They don't give a crap. Because vacant land doesn't fall apart when it sits vacant, right?
Exactly.
So keep finding things that filter it down. I will tell you, the county-owned ones was probably the biggest separator in our list. It's really bad, because the county ones, they compile and they keep compiling, and the minute they pop on that, and you guys are asking, well, Rick, wouldn't you want the one with the county-owned? No, because that means nobody wanted it at auction and it went to the county. And then the county's usually looking to condemn the property or do like an eminent domain or something. And so many people go, oh my God, nobody bid. I'm going to do that. There's a reason people won't bid on those properties. In Florida, we have like really what we call micro lots. They're like 1/8 of an acre. And in today's building standards, you can't even build on them.
Yeah.
And they're in the hood too. So it's like what, there's no buyers for it. I've tried it out. You can buy them at tax auctions for like $500. Well, then you're stuck paying the taxes and nobody wants to buy it. So look at your list and just keep asking quality questions, and you'll keep narrowing it down, and it'll give you the best odds. And you want to get it to a manageable list. Maybe you get it down to 30,000. Maybe 30,000 is not a bad number among, 500,000 people though. And then you can filter it down by the base of either the property value. You can do the square footage. Square footage and property values sometimes coincide. So if you got like a 6,000 square foot property, is that really going to be an ideal wholesale wholesale deal? I have no idea. So like my county gives you the tax assessed value on it, which helps us out a lot.
Ugh, I don't get that.
So they're never going to give you a estimated value. So you got to find a separator. So square footage, maybe year built, maybe the number of bedrooms, stuff like that. Pick the data and just keep working on it. And it's a working document. I took 2 years to fix mine, but honestly, the first time I just threw out the net, I go, let's see what sticks. And we attacked it with direct mail, cold calling, some door-to-door stuff, but we don't really do that anymore in tax delinquents. But I like tax delinquents. You're not going to pull them. You don't have to pull them like every month. That's the
exactly.
Really cool
it's like once or twice.
But I could tell you guys, tax delinquents, man, some strange. Like I find like they're very, the procrastination is horrid. And I don't like direct mail with tax delinquent because they just throw it away. They don't even acknowledge it because
they don't care.
And that's the reality of it. So kind of look at it. Anything that's like anything you can cross-reference that like the bank owned too, but banks tend to pay the taxes off because they know they're a superior position to their mortgage. So just take those tips and just keep working on it and doing. Like you don't have to get it down to 5,000 people. It's okay.
Yeah.
And
how
then
much
you
just
can
slowly
just
chop away at it.
Yeah, you got the entire year to do it, but find the highest urgency and create that list. And whenever you're doing like a pivot table, if you don't understand how to do it, just pay someone to do it. It's because if you have the wrong data, you're wasting your time. So some people will try to save $20 and they'll spend thousands of hours on their own. If they just paid the $20, they would have cut out all the crap. And then that'll cause you to burn out in the business. And for that reason, that's a very smart move with your money. So guys, we're going into a strange economy. So if you guys haven't figured out by now, you have to understand how to spend your money smartly. Number one, you guys are crazy to be hiring these high-priced gurus to learn wholesaling. They don't know any more than me and Zach, I promise you. And I've yet to met anyone who has the experience level that me and Zach have put together. It's honestly, like, and he has, like, he shows you a young man can easily do this. A young lady can do this. It has nothing to do with age. He started at 16, 17. It doesn't matter. So just keep dwindling down your list and you'll get it to a manageable number. But you got a big population, so don't try to get it down to nothing. Like it ain't gonna work. And then you can just pulse that list. You can pick this section and just pick away at it over next 3 or 6 months, however you want to do it.
All right. So can I get you on one last thing?
Go ahead.
So I have this really irrational fear of actually getting something under contract. I know it sounds insane. I've been at it for a little while. You guys probably know me from a while ago. I don't have my first deal yet because I think I could have, but essentially I'll find something and I'll start talking with them. It'll go somewhere and they might seem a little motivated, get on the phone, talk a bit, and then it gets down to like pricing. And then, if I do get them to start to agree to something, I just get scared and I ghost them. This happened twice that at least I can think of. It was a small piece of land, like that hood land you were talking about that you can't even really build on. So I'm kind of glad I didn't even lock that up because that's why I was concerned about that one. Dude wanted like 3,500. I said like, hey, let's do it for 1,700. I'll send you a contract. He said, yeah, sure. I just ghosted him. I never talked to him again. And then there was this mobile home park and it was in a city with a population of only like 6,000, but I could have gotten it under contract at a cap rate of like 12 to 14%, which is generally pretty good. But I was too scared to do it because I felt the population was too low. So I didn't even try. And I once again ghosted the guy.
Okay. So you want my advice on this. So this isn't really a wholesaling problem, just so you know.
I know this is like
where people get
the confidence.
Honestly, if I could spend all my time getting in your guys' heads and then just send you the free wholesaling, actually that would work really well too. So let me give you a couple like tips. So number one, you're not alone. Like
okay, good. I like that. I felt like it was a unique problem.
So a lot of times you have to associate with like outside of like real estate. What's like one of your biggest fears? Like what bothers you? Like you don't have to go crazy with it, but I give an example. Like I hate the dentist. I had just a horrid experience as a child. What's that?
Me too, man. Absolutely.
It's just painful. Like it's just like they don't listen to me. It's like it hurt, and I walk out of there and I can't eat for 3 months.
Yeah.
And so I recently had to get like some dental work. I don't always trust what everybody tells me. Number one is it's expensive too, and it hurts, and it's like it's a pain in the ass. So a lot of dentists to me are like very fearful. So I had to get some work done, and I was just like most of it was from my childhood. So I have learned the easiest way to overcome your biggest fear is to just smack it. Like I had to sit in that chair, and I'm just like I don't know about you, like sometimes I sit in the chair, I start sweating before they even touch me, and I had to learn just let my mind go and trust it, because number one, if I don't get the work done, I'm going to be in worse pain, and number two, I just need to learn to communicate with the dentist better, and number three, what's the worst that's going to happen to me? Like there's so much worse that can happen in life. I don't like needles. I don't like people digging and drilling. I don't think anybody likes that. So you can either avoid the dentist and let your teeth rot out, or you can just deal with it with your irrational like fear and get it over with. Now, The dentist has to deal with needles, pains, and a ton of money going out of my pocket. You talk about wholesaling, your biggest fear is putting under contract. Number one, do the opposite of what you're scared of. It doesn't mean go out and write crappy contracts either. Like that's not it.
Yeah.
But whenever you have a contract that's on the bubble, like you were telling it, just build in your contingency so you have room to exit the plane if it doesn't work. You have a parachute to get the heck out of there if it's bad. Remember, if it's marginal and there's motivation, write the contract, give yourself a 30-day plus inspection, and just give it a shot. If anything, you're going to learn and you're going to overcome the issues that are stopping you from doing it. Ready for this? I have written contracts. I swear to you in the beginning, I had deals come across my desk 50 cents on the dollar. I had the exact same fear you did. And I missed out on 2 monster deals in my first year because I was scared. And honestly, because I knew it was a deal, I just didn't know how to take it down. I didn't know if I could actually do it. Here's the key. I don't know if you can actually do it. The only person that knows is you. So you have to write a contract. If it's tight, build the contingencies in so you have room to work with. Don't write a tight contract for a 7-day inspection. You're doomed from the beginning. It's going to suck.
Agreed.
If you look at a house and the house is motivated, you know what I mean by that? When I say the house is motivated, the house is a piece of crap. It's in terrible shape.
Yeah.
But the seller's like, on and on, and they want like 130, and you go, listen, I can't pay more than 100. Like the numbers just aren't there. She says, well, if you do 120, and like say you wind up at like 110, and go, listen, I'm not crazy about 110. I don't think that's the right number because of this, and this, the roof, the AC. But I tell you what, if you say that's all good, here's what I'll do. I'll write the contract for 110, but I need 30 days to inspect it, and we're going to come in and look at everything. You already know the roof's bad. You know the AC doesn't work. That one I can easily go in and take them down to get a price reduction. I will only do that on motivated property.
Yeah.
If someone gives me a really good deal, I'm not going to cut them at the kneecaps unless some pertinent information comes up out of the blue. So understanding that, you just have to write a contract. What's the worst that happens? You get out of it, right?
That's true.
So just if you write one with a 30-day inspection period, you have a calendar, make sure you follow your protocol. The people that get in trouble are ignore the 30 days. So if you use our contract, say you left a $100 deposit and you had a 30-day inspection, what's the worst case scenario if you fell asleep at the wheel?
Oh, well, you lose $100.
$100. You ever lost $100 on something?
Plenty of times.
Okay. So, and if someone comes around and gives you a smoking deal, like 50 cents on the dollar, I don't want you to beat them up like the person that is giving you a raw deal. Like if you know, like you need a $15,000 reduction and there's a hole in the roof and she or he's saying the roof's good, then you have to use the strategy. You have to save them from their own mess. Sometimes you have to bring in a third party and goes, that roof's bad. It's going to cost $15,000. I need a $15,000, $20,000 reduction. As opposed, sometimes the person will go, I remember training one of my employees and I went with him and we had a little old lady. She goes, I have no idea what this house is worth. It was just a beat up rental property she had. And the property was worth about 75 grand at the time. And I said, just ask her what she needs to get for it. Simple statement like that. My employee, his first day, you know what she spit out? She goes, well, I think I could take 15,000.
Oh my God.
He looked at me because we were going to do, where he was trained to do the haggle, so to speak. I just looked at him. I said, take it. Just take it. Like we can't go wrong in this one. He goes, well, it's $10,000 repairs. I go, I don't care. If somebody makes your life easy, make it easy back to them. When people beat you up and like work them, you got to work it. And that's how life works. If you've ever dated someone, you ever been married, you ever had children, it's the same thing. When someone makes your life easy, make it work for them. A lot of times in the beginning, I used to get confused when I had like older people. They go, I don't know what it's worth. And I'm like, you're lying. I think in my mind, you're lying to me. You're playing to me. Some people do that. And we have to be human lie detectors to figure out what's going on. Your worst case scenario is you lose $100, buddy. That's it. Like stop overthinking the worst case scenario. Because most people have the problem of just contacting them. So you're past that point. So you're in phase 2. You need to have the confidence just to get it done. Your worst case scenario is you get out of the contract and you spend a little bit of time, but I promise you, you will learn valuable lessons. Most people I've taught on this YouTube channel right here on these live have failed probably their first 2 to 6 contracts. You just need to get it out of the way. You're going to get so sharp after that. It's going to be disgusting. Think of the first time you rode a bike. Did your mom or dad teach you how to drive a car?
Yeah.
It was a disaster the first time you did it, dude. Hey, I said the first YouTube live I did was I wanted to just cry and hide under my seat. It's just the truth. I sucked at it. I still a work in progress. We all are. But you have to get out there and help people. The only way you can help them is you got to write contract. Now, that's not an excuse to write reckless contracts. The amount of contracts you write is not like an indicator of how successful you are. A lot of people in creative finance, they go, oh, I did a creative financing. I got a contract. I'm like, okay, but are you going to make money doing it? Sometimes they got to wait 5 to 7 years to find out if they do money. Wholesaling, we make money today. It doesn't mean all creative financings you can make money today. I always teach people positive cash flow. So what you need to do is you got to write contracts. So the ones you're on the edge, just make a 30-day inspection period, $100 deposit. You can't get hurt. The worst is you get out of the contract. Worst, if you do nothing, it's $100 and that's it. There's no reason you should lose your money. money.
Perfect. Okay. I mean, I think that's all
Remember, all you need to do is find someone that will pay you more for it. Now, we are in a strange economy and a strange real estate market. The opportunities are going to get incredible in 2023. You're going to have to build your contract writing skills now because you got to be confident in it. So it's not like a private with 100, go write a contract for 90. And see, that stuff doesn't work anymore. I've told everybody it's not going to work. I told people they were on a fairy tale ride the last 3 years. It's not even close to doing that. And honestly, for the last 7 years, the market's just been so insane. Nobody knows how to wholesale anymore. That's a blanket statement, but it's the reality. So now we're all going back to figuring out what works. I love who gurus say, you got to make adjustments. No. You just got to understand wholesaling. We minimize our risk and we sell contracts that people want to pay us more. That is it. Why do we pick wholesaling? Because would you rather do garage sales on $50 Pokemon cards, or would you rather just take the biggest asset you can flip and do real estate? I'm just telling you, hands down, I used to do the little garage sale thing. It was a nightmare. I hated it. I hated every minute of it. I hate it. Like, you're going to haggle. Here's the secret. You haggle more to the garage sale than you're ever going to do with a motivated seller. And like a lot of people go, well, I can't find anybody who wants to sell their house for the right price. You have to go through a lot of people.
Oh yeah.
If you guys ever watch the show Gold Rush, they dig like hundreds and thousands of tons of dirt to get a speck of gold. You're doing the same thing. But you notice they get better and better. And the ones that don't figure out, they always go out of business. And the ones that figure it out, they get all the gold. It's the same thing. So you need to just do the opposite of what you're doing when it comes to writing that contract and just have rules. Rick says, as long as I have a contingency period and a reasonable deposit, I'll be fine. But I'm not even worried about your deposit. It comes down to your inspection period. That's it.
Pretty much, yeah. And
then if the deal's not right and like they're not, like, I don't want you writing crappy contracts either. Don't waste your time. You're in a market you need. And once you whoever can figure it out in the beginning of 2023 and by this summer is going to destroy it for the next 4 to 5 years. I'm telling you right now, because everyone's trying to figure out where the market is. The more you guys get involved, the more action you take, the better you're going to be. You're going to have to spend some time with cash buyers so you can get the right price. And then you're going to have to spend time getting the right ARV. 10 minutes max. It's not 10 hours. 10 hours is what realtors do. We do 10 minutes because we only deal with motivated sellers. If you're not motivated, I'm not going to spend all my time doing all that other crap.
Exactly.
Okay.
Perfect. I appreciate it, man.
You got it, man. Just get over your fear with it. Cause I still like the dentist. I still have to like talk myself off the edge, but I'm like, I have to do this. And if I can do through the pain, the drilling and the needles, which is all three things I freaking hate, what's the worst that's going to happen to you?
Dude, I run away from my problems. I reschedule my dentist appointments.
Dude, you and me both. That's why my wife makes them. Like that. I'm like, oh my God. I got to go. I think the first week of January, and it's just a pain in the butt. So you have to confront. This is a part of life that the people that confront their issues, they're going to do the best. You're just focusing on what's going to be the worst. Think about this. What could go right though? You can make an extra 10, 20 grand. You need it. Let me tell you, when you get one deal, your confidence level will shoot through the roof.
That's all
Even though you have confidence to carry it, I'm just telling you, it is a feeling that no money can replicate. I don't even care if it's $1,000 or $100,000. The fact that you can take the theory and make it actually work. The problem is most people stick on the theory side and they avoid the action because it's uncomfortable. If it's uncomfortable, you're going in the right direction. So you're not allowed to ghost anymore. They're going to ghost you enough. Trust me. You need to follow up and get people done. So you have the tools to do it. Just go out and do it.
I appreciate it, man. Thanks a lot.
Okay, man. Have a good one, man. See you.